Yo, listen, it's Platinum Max, part of the Acclaim, the Platinum Playboy, best wrestler alive, and you are rocking with the Bob Culture Podcast. Yo, listen, Platinum on the mic, and I'm coming for your ass. I'm listening to the Bob Culture Podcast, and I think it's the hottest show in the game, because them and everybody loves the Acclaim. Now, scissor me.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a good one. Welcome into BCP Plus, featured and, of course, sponsored by our friends over at Twisted Shamrock Studios and Spa, located in Delaware County, Pennsylvania. Thank you guys for being our premier sponsor here. And, of course, guys, please welcome back to the show. You know them from GPW Productions, the best production company out here, especially in the Northeast. They are growing. They're doing sports. Guys, please hire them. Of course, we have the head honchos, of course, Frank León and the very handsome Mike Sesko. They're both very handsome. Gentlemen, welcome in. How are you guys?
Doing good, man. Love it.
Good. So I gave you, so I don't know if Anthony told you, I gave you guys another trophy this year, by the way. You're the 20, you don't know.
We saw the picture.
Did he tell you? Okay. So our 2024 production team of the year, there was never a doubt. First and foremost, seriously, guys, like all joking aside, like thank you for making indie wrestling, which we'll talk about, look really, really good. It is not easy. We'll get into that. And that's not a knock. We just want to kind of tighten the screws here. But you guys do such a good job. You always up your equipment. You up your game. You make the wrestlers look good. You go the extra mile on the entrances. Just everything you do, the replays. So thank you guys. Appreciate you guys, all the love. And now that we got all the mushy stuff, now we can bury everyone. No, I kid.
Very mushy.
Real quick, guys, I wanted to start this series and guys chime in on the chat, stuff you would want to talk about in terms of the independent promotions, what we can do to make things better. We're not here to bash people or name names or anything like that, but I think just I wanted to start with the production standpoint. And GPW was the first guys who came to mind because you guys do such an awesome job. But at the same time, you know, if I'm doing commentary, or I'm working with you guys, or I'm doing a handheld camera or whatever it is, and thank you guys for those opportunities. Sometimes I can see your guys' frustration, and it's because you guys, I believe, the philosophy you have is kind of like mine, where I kind of want, and I'm still learning, I kind of want to make the independents not look like independents. And I think in New Jersey, especially, it's a little bit of the Wild West. We kind of embrace it being independent. We can do what we want, a little more wiggle room. The reins are off at times. Sometimes things are tongue in cheek. Sometimes it's kind of like tee-hee. We're wrestlers, and that's not a knock. I just feel there's ways to kind of tighten the screws a little bit. And I see your guys' frustration, and you guys want to make indie wrestling look like TV wrestling, and you guys are doing everything you can. Just before we get into everything, tell me your guys, Sesko, I'll start with you, kind of like your philosophy. Is that kind of how you guys feel? Because I see you guys on the microphones. I see how hard you guys work. What's kind of the philosophy for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the easiest, our frustration, I think it boils down to us actually like caring, right? Like we care about, you know, not only what, you know, we put out, because, you know, at the end of the day, it's still a reflection on us, right? But we care about the companies that we work with, so we want them to do better, look better, they sound better, right? So if they look better, we look better, right? So I think that's where our frustration lies, in such, how do I put this? Such minor things that could be tweaked to just make it that much better or sound that much better. And I know, like, I'm jumping a little bit ahead, but
no, please.
I know Frank's pet peeve. He sends it to us all the time. When someone does a backstage interview, they're holding a mic, but it's not plugged in.
I've been there. I've been guilty.
We've yelled at you. Yeah, we not yelled at you. We've addressed it with you.
I've been there.
We're like, hey, Rob, plug it in.
And I will admit wrongdoing, and I learned, and I moved forward. Yeah.
And again, like, I get the visual presentation of holding a mic, looks good, right? But it doesn't sound like you're holding a mic. So, like, again, I'm jumping ahead a little bit. Like, the little things like that is what kind of like throws our frustration a little bit sometimes with events, or you don't tell us something's happening, and then you get mad at us that something happened and we didn't catch it quite the way you saw it happening in your head. But if you just
that's a big one.
So I mean, from my perspective, that's kind of where the frustration lies. Frank, I don't know if it's similar to
Perfect
you.
examples, man. The micro, and I'll be the first one to admit, I've been guilty of that when I was starting out. Whether it was my recorder didn't have batteries, or I didn't have the wires, or whatever it was, or I was trying to get the camera and the mic to sync, whatever it was, man. I've even done ones. I think it was Heelson Luke. He's like, that's not even plugged in. And he's right. But what we learned, we move forward. We try to make it look good, but at the same time, and I'll take the blame on that, man. I learned. But it makes it feel kind of small market. It makes it feel kind of like, hey, we're at grandma's house in the living room, doing our little pretend interview. And you guys think very big picture. That's why I did something with Frank at one of the shows recently. Which again, for the backstage interviewer, from that perspective, to just pick up a microphone and go, and not worry about setting up and all that stuff. That's such a huge help. So guys in the chat, I just want to remind you guys, like, these guys are here to help you. They are on your team. Like, we're just trying to kind of have a conversation, improve things a little bit. And Mike, I think what you said was a great example. Frank, any similar thoughts, man, on kind of the overall philosophy?
Yeah, so obviously that I played football, right? Like I played a position where you have to be very unselfish. Like you don't get any stats playing offensive line. And I felt like I think like production is very much like that. Like we're here just to make everyone else look really good. And like we kind of don't really get much credit. Like we got cool trophies every year thanks to BCP plus, but in reality, like pretty much we like don't exist other than when somebody wants to yell about the stream or the sound sounds bad or somebody missed a shot or something. Like that's the only time you hear about us, and that's the same for offensive line. That's the only time you ever hear about an offensive lineman. They missed a block, they missed an assignment, something stupid, right? But for us, it's like we really are here to make everyone else look good. Like there is no other reason for us to be there, and like not enough people take advantage of that. That's like my opinion has been like that for a while. Like people don't take advantage of us being in the building. Like I'm not saying we're the same level as AEW and WWE, but like we're better than most of the other people you've ever worked with. So if you know that we're in the building, we have the really good equipment and we like know how to film TV style, why aren't you saying like, hey, like, can I borrow you for 10 minutes and let's do a promo? Like it really would help my social media presence. Like just like the backstage stuff to me, like is not handled by anybody. And like no one comes up to us. Like no company is like, hey, like we really want our backstage to look really good. Can you guys help us with that? Like, yeah, like we're really good at the front of the house stuff, and like we'll make your stream look really good, and we'll make your show look really great. But like, there is more, and we're a production team that can help with everything besides like the audio in the building and all that stuff. That's not our problem. I pay somebody else for that, or the lighting. Yeah, hire Xander. But like in reality, like we can do a lot, and the stuff that we do now, like we're really good at it. But like, there's more that we can do, and like no one really takes advantage. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, man, that you made. And again, as far as the backstage stuff, like having you guys, I'm not the promoter or anything. I'm not in charge. But GPW, they're worth the price, man. They really go the extra mile. And again, like I'll echo, like just having, especially in certain buildings where it's like hard to find a spot to even set up, like just having you guys like with the I remember, back in the day, we used to roll around. We had a camera crew for backstage, and they would roll around with me, and it just made life so much easier. And again, I understand that's not the way it is everywhere. But man, just from the backstage interviewer perspective, to be, I'm not even going to use the word talent, but to be a character or a persona or a journalist interviewer, to just do that and not worry about the tech side of things, it helps so much. So that's a great example. Also, what Frank said, take the time before the show, meet up with GPW, man. I know a handful of people that do it, but like you said, many don't. A lot of people don't do it. Hey, I'm going to do this dive. Hey, I'm going to go this way. Hey, I'm going to get this facial, man, because you guys work very TV. And I know a lot of wrestlers that work very TV, and that doesn't always translate to independent. So get with the production team. Those are great points. We're just getting warmed up. Those are great points already. Can I bring one to the table? Is that cool? Real quick. Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
I just wanted to jump on that, what
Please.
you were saying, and to just jump on what you're saying about talent coming up to the ones that do come up to us, and we work with their spots, and we work with the angles and stuff. You can tell the difference when it's shot. If you watch the event, you can be like, it's perfectly captured, and the facial shots are on there. Everything's like to the point of where it's like, oh, we worked with that guy. We knew what was happening, or that girl, right? We went over the whole segment. We walked it with the camera guy. You know what I mean? Like, you can tell the difference when somebody puts in that little bit extra effort. And also, by the way, we're probably there before most people that get to the venue, sometimes before the promoters. So, like Frank said, just find us. We'll help you. We'll do whatever we
Pretty
can.
easy to find.
Yeah, I mean, we're usually the ones at the table with all the equipment waiting. So,
Yeah, you can't miss them.
back to you, Rob.
No, it's fine. You guys are like the ninjas. Like, you guys, it really is a thankless job, man. But we owe you guys so much, and I always take the time. I think first name drop of the show. You know how we do it. But Chimmel came on and he said, like, the production guys, like, they should be in the Hall of Fame. These guys have been here 30 years. Like, they've been working so hard. Like, they make the
I agree
magic,
with that.
and you don't even know that they're there. So we do appreciate you guys. I'm gonna bring one up if that's okay with you guys. You might be able to guess what it is. I've always wanted to talk about. I didn't want to post anything on social media or because it comes off as negative, but I do want to have a discussion about this. I want to get your guys' thoughts. I think my number one thing, this might be it, is during. You might know where I'm going on this. During the entrances, and we try to cut down show times, right? I would say about 82%. You know where I'm going, of every entrance. Look, guys, I'm a musician. I know we're waiting for the beat to drop. I get it. I know, like, I get it. You got to hit the timing. But if there's 30 seconds on, and this is not me being negative, this is just, I'm talking in terms of stats. If we're going 30 seconds on every entrance, that 2 of those is a minute. But and plus we have a curtain shot because we don't have these huge crowds that we can pan. What do we do? Do we go to a Titan track? Because you guys work some magic sometimes. But to me, that's the number one thing. How do we fix this, guys? Is this the wrestlers, like, we got to just shorten the intro on the audio? Do we just come out sooner? Because I feel it kills the flow of the show. Honestly, any thoughts on that, guys?
Yeah. With how do I do this without sounding negative? Yeah. Listen. I get everybody wants their WrestleMania entrance, but sometimes, like you just said, it kills the show. It kills the flow. We're sitting there, and we're just like, what? Like, come on, hurry up. Where do we go? We don't have, like, 90% of these companies aren't using Tron entrances, right, or any kind of like video loops like before we go to them. So sometimes it's like, you don't even want to go to the crowd either sometimes, right? Because sometimes the crowds, at some indie shows, let's face it, like, there might be 20 people there. You might go to a show and we do 500 people there, or 1,000, or whatever. But the reality is like, we don't want to just pan the crowd, and then sometimes, like, the crowd is sitting on their hands and knees, right? Because there's 2 reasons for that. Either they're like, who the hell's coming out? I don't know whose music this is, because people change their music up, right? So often that it's like, who is that? How do you change it? I mean, get your original song that's not something that's like a minute till you get out there, like especially in like a Rumble type situation or something, right? You don't want something where it's like you're waiting for someone to come out and you're like, oh my god, just come out already. But even on a regular show, it's like, it's not building anything if people don't really know who you are, and what your song is and your music, and it also looks kind of sad when the venue doesn't have like lighting, like Xander's not, got lighting and crazy lighting and like a full out like production to make it like be an entrance. And if you're gonna have a long entrance, it goes back to what we just said before. Let's talk through. Let's figure out a way to make your entrance like cool, right? Like, you're gonna have, okay, my entrance, I have 45 seconds before the beat drops. What can we do in that 45 seconds? And talk with the wrestler. Maybe he goes, you know what, you're right. I should just come out.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. I guess that's the only way to put it, to be honest with you. Unless Frank has some more, but
I mean, like, at Magic, I mean, like, we run into that problem sometimes, but I have talked to some of the wrestlers and I did have ideas for them. Like, maybe something that we could do is maybe like a pre-show, promo for the match, and like do something that just like a quick 20-minute promo that just cut down that waiting time and that dead air, and people at home can watch something. Maybe the people in the audience won't hear it, and that's fine. But at least we're like knocking out one problem on the live stream. Like you really have a 45-second dead air if you're doing the long entrance. Another solution would be just cut down your entrance song, and something that Mike just said, like an original song. Original song, you got people like Max Caster still making entrance music. You got Darren makes his own stuff with these wolves. Like you got people that can make original music, like make your own song. Like that will help your career anyways. Like you might as well just jump on it. Like if you care about your career, you might as well get an original song. Like you can use it everywhere. And another thing, I mean, you said that too, like Trons, like WrestlePro, like we go to the Tron. We don't have to look around for empty space. Like go to make Trons. I don't know. More companies should do it. To be honest, I think they're pretty cool. Everyone digs them from back in the Attitude Era, anyway. So like, Trons should be more. Like I'm sure everyone can make them. Every company's got at least one video guy can make a Tron. Josh Chernoff will make it for you. Like I don't know, but like bring some TV screens for entrances for Magic. Like that's cool. I think that'd be badass. I think Magic would look really good with like entrance screens with Tron and stuff. I think what an upgrade.
I won't go into that. I've had my conversations as Rob is in the group chat.
And I think again, like that kind of goes into my next point. I'm going to segue real quick, and then I'll let you guys jump into if that's cool. But I think this is a perfect segue. Quality, and again, I'll be the first one to say as I sit here with my 720 pixels right now, because I need to upgrade. But also, I'm trying to up the look, up the equipment, as my hair is all messy from the end of the day, and I'm speaking about quality. Yeah, right. Yeah, I know. I almost did do the hat, but I was like, you know what, we're chilling. But I don't got the nerdy glasses and all that stuff, right? But you guys know the deal. But I think quality, and you guys have stressed, even out the gate, you guys have stressed quality. I've seen you guys up your production, up your graphics. I know that's something you guys might want to hit on. Just in terms of quality, this would obviously be more towards the promotions, probably. Is there any advice you would have or anything you want to hit on with that? Plug in your microphones.
Quality. Yeah. Plug in your microphones. No. Define quality. What are you talking like visually quality? Are you talking about the in-house quality? Because what we're putting out on the stream, quality wise, right? Like we're putting out, if the company supplies us video packages, if the company supplies us graphics, or do we have to make the graphics? 9 times out of 10, we're probably making them, with the exception of, GCW, for instance, right? Like they have their guy who's incredible, by the way, who everyone should be using, but Chris.
Yeah, shout him out, yeah.
But as far as quality of the stream, I mean, that's that does fall on us, right? Like, but I think like the way they put together their shows, if you want to go with quality, like
Sure.
how's the quality of the runtime of the show, and how does everything flow into each other, right? Like now, if you're talking live in house, I think everybody should have some kind of lighting system.
Yeah, that's where I was kind of going.
It literally like changes a show. Like I know it sounds like we're picking on Magic or picking on WrestlePro or whatever. We're not, totally not. But like WrestlePro uses awesome lighting, right? And they just brought Xander in for the last 2 events, raised lighting, right? And it's looked incredible. Magic brought Xander in a couple times. It looked incredible. But then you see the shows where, maybe Xander's booked somewhere else, and it happens, right? Xander's a one-man show. But you see the show where Xander's not there, and the lighting just like is the house lights on, right? It really changes the quality of what the visual presentation looks like for somebody watching it on a stream going, oh, this is just another indie show. Let me just keep changing. Let me go to the next one that's streaming live on Triller or IWTV, and let's find the one that looks like something, right? Like has that visualization that you're like, oh, this is like, we were talking about in our group chat actually the other day, something that looks like a rock show, right? Like something that looks like lighting and music and the crowd is wild and hot and like just something like that. Like I think if you're going quality that way, I might be interpreting how you said quality, but
That's
those are the
perfect.
two ways I look at it. From our standpoint,
Oh, for sure.
and then from in-house when we're actually in the building.
Yeah, and I didn't mean like on your guys' end or the streaming or anything. Like you guys do a fantastic job, but like I think you hit
Time.
on it, man. The lights, you guys even said earlier, the TVs on the side, and then as you guys mentioned, like even the
Yeah.
backstage stuff, we could clean up a lot, man. And to me, like I'm sitting here thinking, oh, like that's not important. Like the important stuff's like the main show and like I say upstairs. I'm kind of like downstairs, like it's upstairs, but like you're right, like. Even you guys saying it today, I'm like, oh, that what? It actually is really like it is really important, man.
That's
Frank,
my
any thoughts?
goal.
Yeah.
My goal for 2025 is like to try to get backstage more at different companies because like I like want to do that. Like that's what I prefer to do. Like Mike and Ash and O'Neill and like whoever else we got in the front can like handle that stuff. I feel like I can benefit more by doing more like backstage stuff because end of the day, like I like doing my social media stuff anyways. Better content backstage, and I just think that like the quality backstage is not where it should be right now. A lot of backstage stuff is what leads people to come to shows. Like if you're not doing great promos backstage with good quality, good lighting, good audio, whatever, people are gonna like scroll right past it. They're not gonna care. You need to put all these promos online to build the tension, to build the drama, to build the storylines. Like, why do people come to wrestling? They come for the drama. Like that. End of the day, like you could be great in the ring. That's awesome, dude. Like, great for you. But if you're not giving me a reason to come to the next show, like then I don't care. I'll watch it online or I'll watch a GIF or whatever. But if you want people to show up, start doing these great promos where it looks real, it looks realistic, it looks passionate, it looks nice quality. It looks like, and I can hear it nicely and all that stuff. I feel like that's where we're missing the mark a lot. In a lot of places, not just like one place, like multiple.
Yeah, no, and I think what I've been trying to incorporate, and again, Rob, you know it. I want to do like in between matches. I want live interviews. Like I think that would be something that's different because no one's doing that right now. Now the question just becomes, does the promoter trust the talent to do it? That's on the promoter to do it, right? Like certain people can do it. And so I'm sure a lot of them that we work with, at least, absolutely can do it. It's just doing it, right? Like it's just like it's so simple. And it's just like in between those matches, how there's all that dead space, or you're just waiting, and it's like everyone's got to walk around the ring and shake hands because they just won, and you know what I mean? Like it's like there's like 5 minutes of just sometimes again dead air or just nothing, or the commentators talking. They could easily be like, "Hey, we got Rob standing backstage with Vargas. Let's go," and then we go backstage, and then we're literally
and then I
backstage
die.
with Vargas, and then you die.
That's inevitably how I'm going to retire. By the way, is Vargas is going to kill me off, just so you guys know.
As long as we can film it.
Yeah, of course, yeah. There'll be a trail.
Multi-cabs.
But not to say I'll push back on that because that's not the right word. But just from being in that position, like I'll ask myself, like, could I, Rob Williams, who is nervous and scared of wrestlers and a big nerd and is self-deprecating and is very like like you're a bad guy wrestler, don't hurt me, could I do that on this? I think I could, like and I've said this to you guys before, I prefer being where you guys are, like producing behind the camera. Like I don't love being on camera. I don't use the word talent. Like if anything, I'm a vessel or an asset to for them to tell their stories, even with this podcast that we do. That's the way I think of it. But
why can't you?
Yeah, what's
like,
that?
Like, why can't you? I mean, like, if
I
didn't think you could, I would tell you.
Yeah, I know you would,
and
you need
I would
to.
Just be like, hey, Rob, no,
and I try to think, like, because I'm on that side of the camera too. Like, would I be able to do it? I think I would. Hey, we're here with hey, I'm here with Vargas. Like, I've done it enough. I feel like it wouldn't be a problem. But could all the wrestlers? And that's not a knock on anyone. Could all the wrestlers do it without going, oh, let's do it again? No. Like we're doing it now.
We're live.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of those things where like you do it, and if you do it, if you don't, maybe you don't do it the next time.
Only one way to find out.
Exactly. Like right. Like I mean, I'm sure in WWE or AEW or anywhere sometimes people have just been thrown to the wolves, right?
I was gonna say, why do I have a feeling
we watched it happen. We've seen the Wolves beat.
Yeah, we won't. Again, no name dropping, but
Yeah.
we were there and things happened, right? Like
Oh boy.
30 takes.
Like I feel like that's part of like the backstage thing.
Yeah.
Like part of me being backstage, like for Magic on like for example, right? Like I want to do more backstage stuff at Magic. Part of what I want to do is go back there and do interviews with all the talent. Maybe take them out of their comfort zone. Like maybe like make them change up the promos that they've done their whole time and make them change how they do promos so that they feel comfortable in an uncomfortable position. So then in the future, when we say, "Hey, I think you're ready for a live interview," they're not going to be like, "Wow, I've never done this before. I don't know if I can handle this pressure." Well, now you can because you've done the pressure with me. Like I feel like that's part of your role as a backstage producer. Like that's what I want to do. I want to make people feel like, damn, like I don't know if I could do that, and then 5 minutes later be like, okay, I did that. Let's do it again. I want to do practice some more. Like it's talking is a skill. You can't just go up there and just do whatever. It's a practice. You have to practice.
Yeah,
I-
and
yeah.
sorry, I was just gonna
No,
say,
please.
just
Please.
even if we didn't do it live, we can pre-tape a bunch of stuff before the show and throw it on, so that if you don't feel comfortable doing it live, we just pre-tape it, right? And then we just say, oh, we still got Rob standing by with Vargas, but we filmed it at 11 a.m. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's like we don't have to do it live. Like I just think live
It would just be
adds that
cool.
little bit of dynamic, right? Like it just adds that little extra that other like no one's doing except WWE or AEW, right?
Like, don't you want to be TV ready? Like
Yeah,
that's
and at the end of the day, yeah, it helps you be TV ready, right? Like you're just
True.
learning to be on camera in a live situation. Hey, you got 2 minutes, and if your promo needs to be done in 2 minutes, and that's it, you know.
that's
And
it.
then we're going back to whoever's in the ring, you know.
Great.
But yeah,
Great set. You guys hit on a couple things. We'll throw it to Rob backstage with Vargas, and there's like a Rob shaped hole in the wall.
that's great
But
though.
but and all joking aside, like Frank, you hit on something too. Like this is something I've been thinking about a lot lately because I want to like produce more things. Like I don't need to be in everything and be like, hey, you lost, hey, you won. What is your story? Which is
Mhm.
essentially what we do, and we're promoting the next show, which match. You know, I'm gonna get the championship at the next match. I'm gonna get her for what she did. I'm gonna get him for what she did. And it's very, hey, what happened? What are you doing next? And to me, I'm kind of like in my head trying to get away from that. Like, I don't need to be in it. I don't need to ask the question. Hey, they're backstage. Someone jumps someone. Hey, they're walking out with their suitcase. Something happens. Hey, they're getting in their car. Like, I'm starting to think more, less small market, I think. And I
Mhm.
think you hit on something there, Frank. That's just a great point. I just want to point that out, man. Good stuff.
I think that's a perfect example, right? Like not every backstage promo has to be standing there with a mic. Hello, I'm here with, and then interview. Like do creative stuff, like you just said. Do different things, like change it up. Like I don't want to send it backstage either 6 times in a night, and
Yeah.
it's the same thing over and over again in the same location. Like do different things, you know. Mix it up, make it fun, make it interesting. You know, it's like. You, you say like
You're picking your
we're
words carefully. I
I'm
could
trying to,
tell.
yeah, I am.
Yeah.
I am. We're streaming it, right? Okay, we're not a major. It's not on NBC or USA, but you're streaming it worldwide. Literally,
Yeah.
if you think about it, you're working for a worldwide market. Like anyone in the world can pick up IWTV's app and just log on and watch you at that very second, at that very moment in time, or Triller, right? Whatever app they're using, like especially Triller. Triller's worldwide too, right? So you're working to a worldwide audience. Why not be creative and try new things? Especially some of these companies, like everything is just always like match to match to match to match, intermission, match, 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 over, bye. You know, it's like
Yeah.
let's do some things in between. Let's get creative, have some fun.
I'll piggyback on that, Mike. It reminds me because you guys have played in bands, right? You guys came up in bands like me.
I did, yeah, and O'Neill did, yeah.
But I know you were doing the football thing, but you and O'Neill, yeah. But basically, that's a great point, man. That reminds me of playing in bands where you had the set list, you ran through the set list.
Hmm.
Maybe there was a drum solo or something different, but at the same time, like you're not just playing songs, you're putting on a show, right?
Correct.
That's a great example.
Correct.
You guys hitting. I'm literally writing these down, so hopefully at the end I can post a nice little
I
list.
mean, at the end of the day, like, yes, it's a wrestling match, but it's a show, right? You like Frank said, you want people to come back, and you want someone to watch you next month or next week or whatever your next show is. Like, if if it's not fun and entertaining, why am I going to watch it? Same thing with WWE or AEW, right? If you didn't like it, why are you going to continue to watch it? Like, it has to be entertaining and fun and make you want to watch month to month. The stories that you're putting on should go month to month, and I don't know, your champ shouldn't be in the main event one month and then the next month he's mid card. That's just me, you know what I mean? Like, things like that shouldn't happen. Like, you should continuity, and like, why are we doing it? Let's make, again, Frank, I think people have all these guys that make videos. Make little mini video packages. You made one, Rob, right, for Donovan
I tried.
and Alex.
Yeah.
Dude, it doesn't have to be like this mind blowing like videos. Like, yours was awesome. I loved it.
Told the
Right?
story,
Like,
yeah.
it told
The
the
thing
story of what
that
needed to be done.
my wife, like, whenever we're watching like TV wrestling, right? The big thing that she enjoys about WWE is that if we're gonna watch a pay-per-view, they're gonna do a pre-match package recapping everything that has happened to this point. And if she's a casual viewer, she's gonna be caught up within 3 minutes. And now when she watches the match, she's like, oh,
Mhm.
I know why he hates him, and I know why they're fighting. So, like, just give me a recap. It doesn't have to be some crazy thing. It doesn't have to have My Way by whoever. What was Link or I forgot who sang it. But like make like a basic video package that just gives me a recap of this rivalry, and let's get to the match, and it's going to be good because everyone's going to understand what's going on.
Yeah, 90 seconds. I mean, they do it a lot with we do it a lot now with GCW, right? They have video packages basically after every match, telling either a story from a previous match. It's not always about the upcoming match, but they have something in between that makes the show captivating and makes you want to continue watching and going, "Oh my god, did you think they literally like whatever, like it'll be in I'll make it up. I'm making it up. They'll be in LA the night, one night, and then they're in Phoenix the next day, and then in Phoenix they have a recap video made of what happened in LA the night before. Like, stuff like that. Like, I know not every company's running daily like that. I'm not, but the way they put on their show and the way the show is built is so different and makes you want to like continue watching next week when they're in whatever Ohio and Chicago, right? Like, because you saw that video and you go, oh man, now I want to see whatever Masha and Tony Deppen, next week in Chicago, because holy crap, that video package of what they did yesterday in LA was something different. But the companies that don't run every week, they can do from last month, like you did that package, Rob.
You have a month.
That was perfect. That, like, it led right into the match. It like told the story of what happened from here to there. The only thing that I would hate about doing video packages is if the company we're doing it for doesn't have monitors in the building,
Right.
because I think when we're playing a 2-minute video package and the crowd is sitting on their hands and you just hear the ring announcer, we're in a video package right now. When we come back, though, I want you lively and energetic. But
I
if they
get
were
that. That's
watching
fair.
this video package, right? If they were watching this video package, it would hype them up too. And now they're getting hyped, like, oh man, we're about to see this incredible match from this video package. Like things like that. Again, going back to quality and adding depth to your show.
I think we hit on a lot of things. I'm gonna do a real quick recap, man. There's a couple things I want to say. You guys hit on a lot of things, man. First and foremost, like, and again, guys, like we're having this conversation. Like I'm in real time, like learning a lot of things. I think it's just conversations we don't necessarily get to have because it's show day. We have a production meeting, we go. It's this match, it's that match. The next thing is the clip. And I think it's important that we do kind of have these conversations because you hit on some great points even now, Sesko. I think I don't want to say we're comfortable, but we're so used to like doing shows on weekends. It's this show, it's that show, it's that match, it's this match, it's the next show, it's this weekend, it's here, it's there. I think we kind of, I don't want to say we lose the fundamentals. And I'm not talking about like wrist lock, tie up. I'm talking about like the fundamentals of a wrestling show. we talked about lights, we talked about music, we talked about the pageantry, production, we talked about, it's yes, the moves and the stories are super important, but
Of course.
it's almost, I think you guys hit on some good points where it's like lulls in the audience, like what are we doing? Yeah, it looks good here, but what are we doing for the live audience? Because right now we're taking the live audience out of it. We want them to buy tickets and come back. So I think you guys hit on some great things. In terms of the lights, I wrote this down. In terms of the lights, I wanted to say from the wrestlers, I've literally heard like, oh, the lights aren't here today, or we don't have the lights, or like, why did they have the lights? Yes, and I think the lights were here yesterday. Like, it's that important. It is that important. I'll leave it at that.
I agree.
Real quick, I think Frank said it, or you guys said the replays on the PLEs that kind of catch you up for like the casual viewer, or for the misses or whoever that's watching with you, man. For me, I kind of hate those because I'm like, I know everything. I just want to see the match. But you're 100% right. That's just me being a smart, super wrestling. Well, sometimes I'm smart nerd and knowing. All right, I know the story. I watched it on SmackDown. But it's a great point. My sister came to a show, and she's not a wrestling fan. She came to support me, which was really, really cool. And I said, what did you think, honestly? And she loved the pageantry. She thought, some of the moves were pretty cool, but she was like, I really wish there was a place where I could know. And the way she put it, and I thought it was a great point. She goes, I wish there was a place where I knew who the players were, which essentially meant, why do I hate him? Why damn him? Why am I rooting for this person? And I think that's so important. If we can find ways to portray that, whether it be the video packages, whether it be a promo or something, or maybe just something online, a roster page or something where, the underdog, he came from this country and did this, like whatever the story is. So I just thought that was a great point. And I wanted to ask you, I just want to ask you guys this one real quick. And if you guys have anything else, please chime in. But one thing I didn't want to miss out on, what would you guys say to the talent? Like, because you already hit on a great point, like, hey, meet us before the show, talk to us. Like, communication is everything. But what is something you guys want to say to the wrestlers? Maybe they could work more TV. Maybe they could work the hard cam more. Is it more facials? Should they work more TV style on the indies? Should they get more moves in? Is there anything you just guys want to say to the wrestlers during their entrance in ring? I'm a little scared. Is there anything you guys got on that?
No. I'll let Frank go first.
I mean, like,
being productive. Yeah.
Well, so like I do always think that in the indies it's like a little bit different because like you want them to work TV style because like you do, if like their ultimate goal is to continue working up and get a contract and work TV, like great. But like we are in the indies and like you do want to like make sure that you're doing stuff for the live crowd. Like I like every weekend whenever we have shows, I'm like, damn, like, I can't believe I have a show today. Like I could be doing anything else. And then you get to the show and like the crowd starts, you're like, all right, I remember why I love coming to wrestling so much. Like there's like it's like such a cool experience. So like don't kill the experience for the fans that. So like I understand that there's like a really weird like divide between like that and that. But like you should be filming like trying to like wrestle for TV. Like there's cameras right there. You could be working a headlock towards the camera. If you want to watch WWE LFG, like they literally talk about get your hair out of your face so I can see your face. Like pretty big important like notes on. By the way, if any wrestler is watching this and you're not watching that show, like you're actually an idiot because like they're giving a free seminar on TV from Bubba Ray, cool, Undertaker, Booker T, and Mickey James. Like you're getting like three phenomenal wrestlers and another guy, and they're giving you really good advice. All right, so like take advantage. Yeah, that's what I said. I don't care. But like, yeah, like take advantage of like that easy like stuff from them because like it really will help your career. And for us, whenever our camera guys are standing there, we're like, all right, get the face. And sometimes people don't even look up. They just start turning, going to the next move. They're not even like doing anything of impact with their move because they are so busy trying to get to that next big move that they forget that your current move you're in should matter. You're not gonna like get that on camera. You're not. All you're doing is just going to the next move because I want to do my next big spot. Like that's literally what a lot of wrestlers do in the indies, especially like smaller companies, because they're so excited to get their shit in. but you could get really good camera work and practice by working towards the cameras at ringside that we provide. We have two of them. Not every company has two ringside cameras, and we have a hard cam at every show. You can work towards that too. Not everyone does, and that's okay. But we're going to practice.
Yes, practice makes perfect. And know where the hard cam is. You know, go.
No, we're not.
What's the old?
Oh, Robert, you have never said. Oh man, listen.
So it's
There,
that old school
when we
mentality.
go to a
Walk the
show,
arena, right? Walk the arena before the show, right?
or just ask the ref.
Or just ask the ref. That helps too. Yeah.
You look, we go to a show, and if we know that they're not looking at hard cam, we're like, damn, like this is gonna be a terrible match.
We tell the refs too. We're like, hey ref, let them know that hard cam is there or there. Or
it does
Easy
take
to
away.
find.
It's the little things. It really is. Mike, anything you'd want to say to the wrestlers that they could do to help a little bit?
Say to the wrestlers. Yeah. So just piggybacking a little bit off of what Frank said. I'm a little more that you should be working the TV style. I get that you want to please the in-house crowd, and I am all for that as well. But I do think that chances are there are probably more people watching on the stream than there are in most venues, right? I mean,
Fair,
it's not true every time, but you know, so I think you need to be playing a little more to the cameras. Find them, they're there, and our camera guys, shout out to them because they're not like just somebody off the streets most of the time. No, I like Lucas and Shane. They went to school for this. Like Shane shot Ric Flair's last match. He'll tell you to this day. It's he'll let you know. Trust me.
It's on his resume. It's the top of the resume, actually.
Yeah, and even like our guys are even with the cameras, we're letting them and we're telling them to be more creative to the cameras. You don't have to just have that stagnant like straight shot anymore. Like give a little, right? Like use your camera skills that you have acquired and try some new things and let's see what happens. If we don't like it, trust me, I'm on the heads up. Like don't do that again. It's like
yes,
we'll
you
tell
are.
you. But to the I mean, listen, the wrestlers, like a lot of them, what we work with, they know us and we know them, and the newer guys that are coming up are listening to the vets that have been working with us, right? And they all work pretty well. Again, come to us and tell us your spots. That's our biggest thing. Don't kayfabe us, right? Like you don't have to. We're not going to get on the line and be like, hey, tonight, GPW Frank is gonna spear Vargas's best friend
I'm here for that.
through a table.
Even if
He's not gonna spear
I
you.
would.
We wouldn't tell the world. Like we're not gonna do that.
And you guys, the proof is in the pudding. You guys know so much. Especially with the big company,
Yeah.
you guys know the deal, and you guys, I don't know it until it happens on TV or on GCW. Man, there's lots going on.
Yeah, I mean, we're told things, which is great, but sometimes we're not. And then, like I said earlier, something happens, and it's like, oh, why didn't you get that? Well, we didn't know about it, right?
Yeah,
And we're
right.
not
We
we're not mind readers. We can't just figure out that so and so is going to come from the left side of the crowd at 10:55 and run in the ring. How am I supposed to know that? You know what I mean? The best we can do is we see it out of the corner of our eye as it's happening, and we're yelling at the cameras, turn around, turn around, turn around, go left, go left. And then we have the cameraman being like, what are you talking about?
I can't hear you.
You want me to go where?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's little things like that. But listen, overall, like I know people are trying, and any frustration that we have on shows, and people tell you, and Frank will tell you, in the beginning of shows, if like something's going wrong, don't come by me. Stay away from me at least, because I'm like scrambling, trying to figure things out. I don't hate you. I'm not mad at you, but something's wrong, and I need to just figure it out. So I have to I focus on that, But go to Frank. Frank is nice. He'll take you away and tell him that's gonna happen, and he'll relay it to me. There's always something that you don't see wrong. Oh, by the way, things are going wrong on the streams, right? We know about it. You don't have to tweet us.
Yeah.
We knew about it before you did. Trust
Yes,
me.
we knew. Yeah.
We knew.
Some of these buildings don't have really good Wi-Fi. All right,
Some of these buildings don't even have internet.
So we bought our own.
Yeah, you got your own. Yeah,
we use our own. No,
Smart.
but to the rest of just include us. I guess is the best way
Yeah.
to put it.
We're
We're
part of
not
the
looking
team.
for we're not looking for any credit. We don't need you telling everyone how great we are. We're not there for that. We're not the ones selling tickets. We're not putting any butts in seats. At the end of the day, it's them, right? They're the stars. We're just trying to make you look like that and get to that level where people are like, holy crap, this guy sounds, the whole presentation of this wrestler is incredible, and that's what we want from it.
Yep.
I love it, guys. Before we take it home, I just thought of one more real quick, and if you guys have any more, feel free to jump in. This was actually relevant to some recent shows, one with Mike and one with Frank, and I had learned, we kind of learned from, I don't want to say our mistakes, but we learned from shared
Absolutely.
experience.
No. We learn from
Sometimes
mistakes, Rob. Sorry.
No. I think I saw I'm trying not to get too specific. There a lot of times, a lot of shows we're doing long-term storytelling, they end very dramatically. And if I'm on commentary or there's someone ring announcing, sometimes I feel in indie wrestling, and I'm guilty of it too. We kind of put our tag on it. We're like, oh, this just happened. We'll see you next time at the next event. And that kind of takes away from the moment, I feel. And this is more of a tighten up your endings, kind of know how you're going to end. At the last show, I talked with Frank. I'm like, all right, so this is going to happen. How I'm on lead commentary. How should I address? Should I lay out? Should I? And I think it worked perfectly. And I've seen shows, Mike, where you were very frustrated, where you're just like, all right, fade out. And everyone's just kind of putting and I'm choosing my words carefully. This is not a knock, but really kind of putting their tag on it, or there's very long verbiage on commentary, and it's kind of no, we're in shock. This is dramatic. And I think I just wanted to touch on that. Really figure out with the production team how you want to end this. Talk to commentary and anyone who has a microphone, I would say.
Yeah, I think one of the main things that a lot of people should start doing, and I know a few companies do it, but is the very simple production meeting, right? Let's talk before the show and go over. You don't have to. Again, we don't need every single detail. We need 99% of it, but things change during the shows, right? I understand that it happens. It's indie wrestling, right? Oh, hey, so and so's running late. We got to switch match 6 with 7 and whatever. It happens. It's fine. We're okay with change. We can handle that. But I think if you have a production meeting, and usually, honestly, one of the first questions I normally ask is, how are we going off the air? What's our ending? Just because I want to know where we're going, right? Again, if you want to kayfabe me, which some people do, so I'm not gonna tell you who's going over, but we want to go off on his face when he's holding the title. Okay, cool. But I think you hit it on the head, right? People either need to know the endings, right? Whoever needs to be involved in that segment should be tied into that segment, just so that we can have that clean ending. Because, like you said, sometimes we're like, hey, we want to go out right on the guy posing on the entranceway, right? And then he poses for 5 seconds, and that commentator or that person is going, and then he goes through the curtain, and now it's like, well, what do we shoot? Go back to hard cam, and then I throw my hands up because I'm over it. It kills the story, it kills the visual, and probably what that wrestler was trying to portray and convey to the audience. So I think production meetings are probably a good thing, and we kind of know where we want to go at least, and how we want to get out of it.
I love it. And maybe even
Rob,
have
I had one last one.
Of course, please, we need them.
This is one that was taught to us by Pat Buck.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tell every promoter and every wrestler that's listening. After every match, you don't have to shake everyone's hand. That doesn't have to be a thing. You could save 5 minutes after every match. If everyone didn't do the whole, hey, look at this guy, let's shake hands in the middle of the ring. That should be saved for the very long-term rivalries that just a year just ended on a last man standing match, blood match, whatever it was, and they want to shake hands because they earned each other's respect. You want to do that? Phenomenal. But after hey, I just talked shit about your mom for the last week, and after our match, I'm gonna shake your hand and we're best friends. Like that is so stupid. Just leave the ring. Like you just wasted time for the production and for the presentation. It's just stupid. So don't do that.
Yeah, it loses its effect if everyone's doing like the vets. I'll give a pass to because they're usually passing the torch, or if it's a young guy or something, like I'll give a pass there. But I get it, especially if everyone's doing it. Yeah, it loses its effect. We kind of fall into these wrestling tropes or these indie tropes, and I think you guys hit on a lot of
So,
things. Please, Mike.
no, I was gonna say it's like it's also one of the, it kind of circles back to the flow of the show, right? Like if everyone's doing that, we're kind of now slowing the show down, right? Or I'll take it to another subject if I can.
Yeah, please.
And how do I say this? Uh,
Uh,
when a commentators are talking or the ring announcer is talking,
oh, that's a
someone's
no-no.
got to lay out, right? Like it always sounds like garbage. There's no audio person in the world that can
For
fix it.
real.
I'm sorry. Like if I'm
Yeah.
talking and the ring announcer is telling the story about Jimmy's Cookies that are sponsoring the show in the corner, it's like stop. Like the best thing we can do and that we've done and that we do is we cut. We'll cut a mic. We'll just
Yeah,
commentators shut up or ring announcers shut up. Like, and we're telling them in their ear, hey, stop talking, lay low, and then you see the abrupt cut. So I think like from a live stream standpoint, you got to kind of find that line too, right? Because you never would see WWE, and this show is sponsored by Minecraft, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
in the middle of the production. Like you do that when we're like either in a video package or a backstage interview or something like that, just to kind of keep the show flowing, right? Again, it's the whole presentation of the live show. I think that's a big thing for me. I always like get annoyed when someone starts talking over each other, or they're making their entrance and the ring announcers announcing who they are, and commentary is just talking. Um, and I've been in your ear, hey Rob,
Yeah,
or
yeah, shut
hey,
up, Bob.
tell everyone down. Wait a
Thank you.
second. Um, yeah, that's one that I have.
I
I
think
don't
that's
know
great.
what your thought is of that.
I think that's great. I literally, because I want to do like a lot of aspects of the indies. I might do a commentary episode and talk on things like
You
that I
should.
could go on and on real quick. I'll just say like I kind of learned and I'm still learning to kind of talk in sound bites. Some people are very long winded to talk in
Mhm.
paragraphs. To me, I feel like you miss moves. You're missing what's going on. Yeah, you're getting your stuff and you're telling the backstory, but like it again, we talk about flow, how important flow is. So just things like that as a quick example, I remember talking to you guys like, hey, I'm doing commentary here. I feel comfortable. I'm doing commentary here. I don't feel like I fit in. I feel, what can I change? What can I do better? How can you guys help me? And we did. We fixed it. I felt way better the last one I did. And Frank was a huge help at the last show. Mike big timed us. It was awful. But no, I really I do want to say,
I'm gonna do it again.
I had
yeah, of
I had
course.
I had basketball championships, man.
Which is awesome, which is
I
good
had
and
to
good for
I
you
had to
guys.
I had to do it.
Let me hit you guys with the mushy stuff real quick. Thank you guys for doing this. Hopefully, it came off to everyone in the chat as productive. We're really nitpicking here. I understand that we're not trying to knock anyone's product. I think we're all in real time just learning and like, oh, we could do this better, or I can do things better as a backstage interview. I could do things better just to communicate. I think wrestlers can communicate with production better. There doesn't need to be this every. You should know Frank's name. You should know Mike's name. You should know Anthony, right? You should know the crew because they're there. Anthony's a wrestler too. Like all joking aside, like he knows the deal. I think communication is key. I did make a little list real quick. You guys let me know if you have anything to add, just from what we were going over. And this I will write down as well. I think the number one thing we put talk to production. I think that's the huge one, that communication. Another one we put in terms of the entrance, edit that music down. I know you're waiting for that bass to drop. We got to shorten those entrance, like those those 30-second curtain shots. They add up, like it kills the flow. That's
Hey,
another one. Yeah.
so Rob, when we're shooting the crowd, let me ask you that: if
Yes.
you're watching at home and someone's entrance is a minute long, and you see the crowd, and we're doing like, okay, we don't know what to do, so we're just gonna go to pan crowd chop,
Yeah.
and you see crowds doing nothing, like, how would that make you feel, right? Like I feel like that would make me feel like
It wouldn't make me
kind of,
feel. That's the
you know,
problem. I wouldn't
exactly.
be hyped. I wouldn't be like, because they're like you said, they're waiting. They don't know who's coming out, right? That's a great point. So
Yeah,
again, show flow. That was
keep
another
it
one I wrote
going.
down. Much like a set list, right? You're not just playing songs. You're putting on a performance. We touched on that. We also talked about. I don't want to say this too much, but in certain cases, maybe wrestle more TV like or aspire to be more TV. I don't want to be too
It's
general with that because
At least
yeah,
aspire. Yeah.
that's just
aspire.
more my opinion again. Like
Yeah.
I'm taking the full. That was me. I just think that we're shooting. You brought us in for a reason, not to just shoot your event. If you wanted someone to just shoot your event, you would just get your friend or something who owns a camera and just they would just film it, right? Um, I think you're bringing us in for a reason, so I think you want your product to look like, you know, better, right? Like you want your product to look like a actual show. You know, you want the graphics, you want the replays, you want all that stuff. So you want your wrestlers to also work more TV. And again, it's my personal opinion. You know, if I'm pointing the camera at you and you got a submission, I do want to see your face, right? Like I'm always saying it to the camera guys, get the facials, get their facials. And again, to the credit, most people do. Most people look at the camera and they know it's there, but when you're working to one side of the room that has, you know, 20 chairs, but the hard cam's on the other side and your back is there the whole time, it's like, you know, it kind of affects the visual of the product. So that, you know, again, that's all my opinion. You don't have to work it that way if the promoter doesn't want you to, but I think if they're bringing us in, it's because they want their product visually to look like Evolve or,
Yeah.
you know, NXT or something similar in those aspects to
And
their show.
that's perfect. The next one literally is quality. We talked about quality. We talked about, hey, screens, lights. In terms of even just the wrestlers, like I said, they're like, oh,
Mhm.
we don't have the lights today. They had the lights last night. It's like when playing in a band. Again, I make that comparison. It's like, oh, we're feeling the adrenaline because there's like hundreds of people here, or the Stone Pony sold out, or whatever it is. Or you're playing a bar and there's like two people. I always shout out my guy Max, one of my bass players, one of my best buddies. He would always play like it didn't matter how many people there. If there were two people, if there
Mhm.
were hundreds of people, he would always play like there are a million people, man. And it's hard to do that. I understand like people feed off the crowd and emotion.
It
Not
is.
everyone can do that, but I think it's important to like Mike said, you are playing. You could be literally watched by everyone in the world. That's literally not happening. But if
No.
they have a subscription, there's going to be a lot of people watching, or social media clips. So that's a great point too.
I mean, the clips are the big thing, right? Like, because those
Yes,
probably go out viral more than anything, right? So if the clip doesn't look semi good, right? Like, I mean, what's it going to look like? You know, if you're
yeah,
not working to the cameras, then the clip that goes out, you may have done the coolest thing in the world, but all people saw was your back and your back of your head. You know, uh, social media is a whole nother animal, but
yes,
that's a
yes.
whole nother podcast,
Oh
I'm sure.
yes, I'm here for it though. And then I just put this last one, because I kind of hold you guys to this standard. I try to hold myself to this standard. Um, I think I touched on this at the beginning, but especially in New Jersey, because not a lot of things are regulated. Like if I wanted to get in the ring and wrestle, I could do that, and I would never do that because I respect people too much.
Mhm.
I hesitate to have an entrance. I hesitate to come through the curtain because I am not. I have too much respect for the people who are hitting plywood and beating up their bodies and traveling and putting in the miles and money and all that stuff. To me, it's just I think be professional. I put that down in terms of like New Jersey. Look, anyone could. I don't want to say anyone could be a wrestler, but here, literally, I could get in the ring, and it shouldn't be that way. Um, I
Sure.
think there's a lot of free range, and I think we need to, especially when it's not regulated, we need to be smart. We need to be respectful of the people who are trained. We need to hold ourselves to a standard like it's a job. I would say so. I don't want to say it depends where, but like I think the way you carry yourself, and the way you present yourself in terms of the way you handle business, the way you communicate, I think it's important to be professional, because if you're treating it like it's just like you're in a play or it's a high school musical or anyone can do anything or change anything, like there needs to be some sort of parameters and line and professionalism. So I feel I need to say that. I'm not saying what I'm trying to say, but something like that.
You're not
I
wrong.
agree.
Yeah.
Not wrong.
All right, good. Well, I appreciate you guys backing me up. Do we hit on everything? You guys good? I think
So,
Yeah, I
there's
think
probably
so.
like a million other things that
yeah, I
we'll think
know.
about later,
Probably.
but
I was like, but
Yeah.
this
We'll just
honestly
do a
was
part
really,
2 at some point with all the
Ye-
questions and comments that people
yeah,
have.
we'll deal with them for sure, guys.
And
And
everyone
please,
tells
like,
us we're wrong about everything.
yeah, you know what? We'll take some pushback. Let's have a conversation.
I
But
would love
I
to.
I'm
do
fine with
agree.
the conversation.
Yeah,
I'm fine with it.
I agree with you guys. I do want to say thank you guys seriously for everything. Like, I was just a drummer in a band. I wasn't doing any of this wrestling stuff. I had a podcast and I was able to interview some of my heroes and highlight the local talent, man. And you guys were one of the first to let me do some of the production stuff and the camera stuff. And honestly, I fell in love with it. Like, I like doing that more than anything on camera. I like doing that more than a lot of stuff that I end up doing somehow. But I love the art of it. I love the production. I love, like, you, Mike, and you, frankly, you guys have your vision. This needs to be shot this way, this angle, this story. Even now, talking about it, like, I'm falling in love with that. I do it at my church now. I do the audio video at my church, and it is much slower. It is sermon. It is much slower than the backflips and the get outside the building and run. And no, he's got a chair. It's very different. But I'll text you guys, hey, how do I change the Zoom and da da da. And you guys are super helpful. I do want to thank you guys for the opportunities. Let me go to StarCast and produce with some of the AEW talent. That was so cool. I'll never forget that, man. I appreciate you guys so much. Again, our 2024 Shameless Promo BCP Plus production team of the year. I know it's not Sports Illustrated. We're working on it. But just
Still in
thank
the
you,
works.
guys. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Oh, hey, man, honestly, thank you. I mean, you've always supported us. So, like, honestly, like, inside and out of, like, this wrestling bubble. If you
Yeah,
need
yeah.
anything, we're here for you, buddy.
Yeah,
Of course, Mr. Bob podcast.
That's it, Bob. Bob podcast.
Plus.
Shane Plus. Yes, Shane.
Plus. Shane Pluses.
That's right. I appreciate you guys so much. Real
No,
quick before we get out of here.
Okay.
No, I was just gonna say, get your shameless promo, get your stuff in like the wrestlers, right? Get your shameless promo in. Where can everyone book you? Because you guys are blowing up. You're doing the sports
I don't
now.
know.
Too.
I don't think you can book us.
Well, if you run sports, please hit us up. We love sports so much.
We do.
Oh boy.
No, seriously, I'm like that. This is like for real.
I don't know if you're being sarcastic.
Listen,
this is all like I love the sports
animal.
stuff.
It's a different animal than wrestling, obviously.
It's all Rob. I'll tell you off air, but it's better.
Yeah. Okay. I get that.
No, but wrestling is always our first love. It's
you can find us on whatever social media. Like message us. Sometimes we'll get lost in the message request, and I won't see it for a while. But I'll eventually hit you up.
Yeah, there's also our website. If you go to the GPW Productions.com, there's a contact button. You can hit contact, email us. There's a way to get social media is the best, right? Instagram, Twitter, or X. Sorry, it's X. But hey, yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, you guys are very active on socials too. And thank you again, not just for me, but for all you guys do for like the indies wrestling. Like, you really make everyone look great, or as great as possible, right? No, I kid. You make
Alex
everyone
Ryman is rough, man. That's mad.
He's hard. He's
hard.
hard.
Oh man.
But
But
at the end of the day, we care, Rob. That's
yes.
Like legitimately, like we like you were saying with the band, like we care about what we do, and we care about how it looks and how it comes off. So, circling back, if we're frustrated, it's because something didn't look the way that we thought it should have looked, or something didn't come out the way we wanted it to come out. We just want it to be the best that it can possibly be for them and for the company. And it sounds like I'm bullshitting you, but that's legitimately it. You're a drummer. I was a drummer. I don't like being in front of the camera either. I don't want to be in front of the camera. I just want to be behind it. But I want it to look the best that I can possibly make it look. And we take that in, again, like he said, we're expanding, right? We take that in football, in basketball, in hockey, lacrosse, all the sports stuff that we're doing on the side. We take the same energy and the same things that we learned, right? Because we still learn. We learn something new. We get new equipment. We try it out, and we test it. Right. But yeah, at the end of the day, again,
Mike had a drone.
we care. We got drones
Yeah.
now. We got some other secret stuff. Some I'm not going to spoil it, but
I
yeah.
seen some
So
things. I seen some stuff. All right.
stuff is coming. It's different things, different ideas. We want to make 2025 different, right? We want to try new things. WWE's trying new things. Why can't we try new things and make these events look and feel a little different and more modern than just a little show in a VFW, right?
Yeah.
Take it to the next level if we can. Whatever we can do to help. So
I
I'll
love
leave it at that.
I love that. And I will say this, and I've said this to you guys to your face. I think you guys really will be the next guys like running the big leagues. I really do, and you've already helped in certain ways, and you guys deserve all the love for that. Thank you guys so much for staying up. We appreciate it. And guys, like we always say here on the BCP, everyone stay safe, stay positive, take care of each other. We out. Peace. BCP is brought to you by our favorite store, Funkenstein Wrestling Superstore, located in the Englishtown Flea Market in New Jersey from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays, and online at FunkensteinWrestlingSuperstore.com. Get your favorite wrestling merch, retro video games, Ninja Turtles, Ghostbusters, G.I. Joe, so much more. It's our favorite store. Thank you, Heather and Dan, for sponsoring the BCP. Also got to welcome back our sponsors, the No Gimmicks Podcast, the podcast that keeps it 100% real 100% of the time. Check out our guy Kelvin, only on the No Gimmicks Podcast. Wrestling All Day, All Night is the best wrestling discussion group on Facebook. We provide more of a community feel here and have wrestling fans introduce other fans to something they may not have seen before, such as old school wrestling, indie wrestling, Japanese wrestling, and so much more. We also strive to be a source of information regarding upcoming wrestler meet and greets and signings. And remember, we're open 24/7, all day, all night. Be sure to follow on socials and join the group on Facebook at Wrestling All Day, All Night. Welcome back our sponsor, Sweet Chin Musings. Sweet Chin Musings is the creation of the reigning, rarely defending, highly disputed champion of wrestling podcast, Mr. Perfect, Mike Mueller, and his tag team partner in crime, Luke Kudialis. SCM focuses on the in-ring product of WWE and AEW, no dirt sheet rumors here, as well as backstage news, predictions, and analysis of characters, storylines, and major pay-per-views. Old school fans, don't worry, we have you covered as well, with a look back on classic matches, top 10 lists, and interactive tournaments that let the fans decide who is truly the best of all time. You can find them at Facebook at Sweet Chin Musings, and check out the podcast on all major podcast platforms. Please welcome back our sponsors on the BCP Plus and the podcast, GPW Productions. GPW provides your promotion or event with top-tier video, audio production, live streaming, and more. I can personally vouch for them in saying they are hands down the best production company I've ever worked with, as they have and continue to work with the likes of AEW, GCW, StarCast, MLW, not to mention the majority of the local independent promotions here in the tri-state area. They can even help you film a vignette or promo for your persona or gimmick. And guess what? GPW doesn't just work in wrestling. No, they cover MMA, boxing, basketball, or any other sporting event as well. On a personal note, I'd like to thank Mike Sesko, Frank León, O'Neil Andros, and the team for giving me multiple opportunities to work with them and some of the best talent in the world. Thank you, GPW, and guys, book GPW for your promotion or event today at contact@gpwproductions.com. Please welcome back one of our favorite sponsors, Mania Club. Established in 2015, Mania Club is a WWE-recognized community for fans with an eclectic love for both the world of professional wrestling and raising money for Connor's Cure. During WrestleMania weekend, we host the official tailgate of WrestleMania while also celebrating the life of Connor McCollum. They are the single largest donor within the V Foundation for Connor's Cure, with over 150,000 raised. Please donate and join the Facebook group over at Mania Club on Facebook. Donate at jimmyv.org/Mania Club. Guys, please welcome in our new pod sponsor for the months of May and June, J. Adam Photography. Jay provides quality, artistic, innovative photography with a quick turnaround time. Be sure to check out his latest ISPW wrestling pics and much more stellar content. Right now, wrestlers can do a special portrait shoot with Jay in Sparta, New Jersey for just $50. Contact Jay at Jay Vogel on Facebook and be sure to follow him across socials. Thank you, Jay, for sponsoring the BCP. Guys, let's welcome in our new pod sponsor, Cooper Groove Grips. When you play Cooper Groove drumsticks, you get increased sensory feedback from your hands, so your grip will naturally loosen, but you have complete control. With that taking place, you don't have fatigue and soreness, which can lead to long-term issues. Guys, as a drummer, Cooper Groove is my drumstick of choice. Sweaty hands aren't a problem. Grip is good. Don't forget to check out their amazing Cooper Groove bats coming out soon. Guys, follow at Cooper Groove Grips on Facebook. Guys, please welcome in our new podcast sponsors, ISPW Weekly, where we dive deep into the world of ISPW, the crossroads of professional wrestling. Join Jumpin' Jay and Total with Tom every week as they interview the stars of the ring, uncover their stories, rivalries, and the electrifying action that defines ISPW. Be sure to check out ISPW Weekly on the ISPW Facebook page every week. Please welcome in our new pod and daily site sponsor, Twisted Shamrock Studios and Spa, located in Delaware County, Pennsylvania. Twisted Shamrock is a retro spa experience for the average Joe and Jane. Meet the next evolution of recovery and relaxation. Right now, you can try their introductory offer, where you can try a core service to include massage, skincare, facial, stretch therapy, body slimming, toning, personal training, and spray tanning for 30 minutes for just $30. This is perfect for our wrestling pals as well. Book today. Call 484-574-8868 or visit www.twistedshamrockstudiospa.com. Guys, please welcome back our returning podcast sponsor, USDN. USDN Podcast is run by USDN Chairman and the Council of Nerds. We bring you all the latest news and rumors from the world of nerds and consolidate it right here at the U.S. Department of Nerds. USDN is for the people, by the people, and of the people. Follow them at facebook.com/US Department of Nerds. Guys, please welcome in our new pod sponsor for 2025, the Ropes and Riffs podcast, featuring Maestro John Kiernan, speaking with the stars of professional wrestling about their in-ring, tunage, gear, and so much more. Check out John's interviews with the likes of Lince Dorado, Mercedes Martinez, and so much more. Find the Ropes and Riffs podcast on all major podcast platforms. Guys, please welcome in our new podcast sponsor, EM Collectibles, featuring live signings, collectibles, toys, and more. Be sure to follow them on Facebook and stay tuned for their upcoming events. Upcoming events right now, March 8th, Hernando Toy and Comic Show, the Hernando County Fairgrounds live signing with Super Crazy. March 22nd, Neg Dog Championship Wrestling presents Music and Mayhem in Hudson, Florida with special guest Super Crazy. March 29th and 30th, 2025 Syracuse Collectors Con in Syracuse, New York with Bill Alfonso, Gary Wolf, and the quintessential stud muffin Joel Gertner, March 30th only. April 5th, New England Fan Fest, and we'll have Buff Bagwell. April 13th, 2025, our premiere show, Bring Back the Memories Toy Show, and May 10th, our renowned 90s Wrestling Con in Morristown, New Jersey, guest to be named soon. Please welcome back our returning podcast sponsor, Inside Heat, Sports and Collectibles. Learn from a legend, that's right, Howard Johnson from the Mets. There's a baseball clinic March 29th, 2025 from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Ages 6 through 14, boys and girls. Enroll now at the Maple Grange Fields, 36 Maple Grange Road, Vernon, New Jersey. Contact Pete for event or sponsorship information at InsideHeatSports@gmail.com. Warriors of Wrestling presents New Breed, Saturday, March 15th at Most Precious Blood Church in Brooklyn, New York, featuring WCW legend Vampiro and former NXT superstar Odyssey, FKA Odyssey Jones, with a special appearance by Boogie Woogie Man Jimmy Valiant. Get your tickets now at warriorsofwrestling.com and be sure to subscribe on YouTube. Bree Combination Wrestling presents Madness at the Mecca. It's going to be on Sunday, March 16th, 2025, 106 Bergen Ave, Ridgefield Park, New Jersey. Doors at 2, bell at 3 p.m. Featuring BCW World Heavyweight Championship match, Darius Carter versus the Messiah of Old School, Sean Donovan. Of course, Anthony Gangone versus Casey Navarro, Stunning Law, and plenty more. Get your tickets now.